It's your boy Tam. So I decided to do this video in reference to some comments made by one Eddie Hearn. Because listen, I know Anthony Joshua is your fighter, and I know it's your job as a promoter to, in hindsight, big up your fighter, boost up your fighter, because that's what promotions is about, is promoting your fighter. But at the same time, you can also say something that people may not agree with. And I'm one that definitely don't agree with the latest comments by Eddie Hearn in regards to Deontay Wilder. Now, in case you guys don't know, after the fight with Joseph Parker and Deontay Wilder, in which Deontay Wilder suffered his third loss via, pretty much a one-sided unanimous decision in favor of Joseph Parker. Unfortunately, I had Joseph Parker winning 12 out of 12 rounds. But one of the things that I said why Deontay Wilder had a really bad night is because, one, inactivity. You're fighting once a year. You're 38 years old. At the end of the day, you need to stay as active as hell, because whether you like it or not, for the most part, the clock starts to, start to bother you. You can't do things at 38 that you once did at 28. And I think a lot of times, a lot of people try to fight that. Like me, I'm 49. I understand that I can't do things at 49 that I used to do at even 39, 29, 19. I have to understand that. It is what it is. But I can make adjustments. When you get older, you have to make adjustments. You have to try to get smarter and figure things out. And that's basically what's been going on with Wilder. Wilder just was inactive. And that was one of the things that I criticized Al Heyman and the PBC for doing, and particularly to their black fighters, keeping Wilder out of the ring for over a year, having him fight a year in between fights. There was no reason why Wilder couldn't have got a fight in 2023, possibly 2 fights in. Wilder wasn't hurt. From my knowledge, he was healthy. Nothing wasn't really going on with him. Seemed like he was physically there. Seemed like he was mentally there to fight. So why is it that Deontay Wilder was not able to get any fights until the tail end of 2023? Ask yourself that question. But we'll discuss all that this weekend. We'll discuss all that this weekend. And I'm definitely going to do a video about a lot of these fake anti-black boxing channels that happen to be black. Now, I'm not going to name no names, but you know who these guys are. And at the end of the day, ain't nobody worried about them responding. Nobody's scared of these dudes whatsoever. Because me and you, we all know they're not going to do shit if they see you in person. They're not going to do nothing. They're not going to run up on you. They're just going to look at you, if that. Or they're going to act like they don't see you. Fine with me. But we keeping it real here on my channel. My thing is, if you look at Anthony Joshua's resume compared to Deontay Wilder's resume, it's not really much of a difference whatsoever, because keep in mind, some of the dudes that Deontay Wilder fought versus Anthony Joshua fought, Deontay Wilder tried to set up fights with a few of those guys, and they was electing not to fight Deontay Wilder. At the end of the day, Joseph Parker for years didn't want to fight Deontay Wilder. But as the years went by, he took advantage of the fact that he was inactive. and a lot of people did. Keep in mind, Wilder was on his way. I think he was at the airport about to get on the plane to go fight Povetkin, and then keep in mind, he popped dirty. Ruiz, whatever the case was, they couldn't find a way to come to an agreement. They're saying that Ruiz priced himself out. Dillian Whyte, he didn't be in a hurry to get in the ring. Don't talk that shit about Wilder, but when was active fighting 2 and 3 times a year, these dudes wasn't lining up to get in the ring with him. Let's just keep it a buck. Same thing with Regis Prograis. People want to say that Devin Haney beat an old Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis is 34 years old. It's not like the dude is just out of his prime. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you fight your best, depending if you make adjustments, start a fight a different type of way. You fight your best, you reach your peak in between 28 and 32, 33, 34. Unless you get into these fights where you just take mass amount of punishment. So to just keep it a buck, Joshua's resume isn't that much different from Wilder. And then, like World Combat Sports say, okay, if you want to add Klitschko, who was pretty much retired, hadn't fought in 2 years, got off the couch. And then keep in mind, at the end of the day, Wilder, he fought Ortiz. Luis Ortiz, a dude that a lot of people was ducking. A lot of people was ducking King Kong Ortiz. So that takes precedent over Klitschko. At one time, Klitschko was one of the best fighters, in the world when he had his reign, him and his brother. But let's just keep it a buck. He was past his prime. It's cool to have a guy like that on your resume, but at the same time, he was past his prime. It all depends on how you use in the debate and the argument and what point you're trying to prove when you're talking about these kind of fights. But the hit on that. And I know that Eddie Hearn is trying to big up his fighter, but come on, man. And whether you like it or not, we can play these games all you want. Anthony Joshua ducked Deontay Wilder for years. We can holler about the quote about this and that. Now, some people trying to reference to when Deontay Wilder could have went to the zone, this whole thing with Lou DiBella, where Lou DiBella tried to take Deontay Wilder over to the zone, and they offered Deontay Wilder like a 3-fight deal that was going to pay him possibly $100 million. The key factor was there was no guarantee that Anthony Joshua was included in the package. So let's tell the whole truth about that. And they did a lot of shady stuff pertaining to Deontay Wilder. They asked for $50 million to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder got somebody to invest the $50 million so they could have undisputed. And then Anthony Joshua started playing these games. Anthony Joshua, a lot of times, would get visibly irritated if you asked him about Wilder. It got to the point to where he threatened. They are on record. Let's talk about that, how people sitting up talking about what Wilder's supposed to say. Let's talk about how Anthony Joshua, Team Joshua, said if Wilder didn't stop mentioning his name, they would freeze him out. Well, haven't you done that thus far? You've been freezing him out. You've been freezing the dude out. So like I said before, we can play these games all you want, but Anthony Joshua clearly visibly ducked Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder got screwed by his own people in regards to the PBC, because at the end of the day, Al Haymon did not have to let Charles Martin go over there and fight Anthony Joshua and get Anthony Joshua, help get Anthony Joshua 3 of the 4 major belts, to where Anthony Joshua can use that as an excuse. Deontay Wilder did everything he could to try to get that fight made when they were undefeated. He pretty much agreed to take a flat rate, which I think that was what you call a fake, absurd nigga deal. Oh, we'll just give you 12 to 15 million, no back end on the pay-per-view. And that's what they offered him. And then they were shocked when Deontay Wilder said, okay, I'll take it. So let's talk about that. When he agreed to a flat rate. And I think that was very insulting to basically offer Deontay Wilder a lowball offer. First of all, Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, if they would have found a way to do a joint pay-per-view when they were both undefeated with DAZN and the PBC and possibly Showtime pay-per-view, that fight would have did numbers. Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, probably with the UK and the States combined, that fight would have did over $1 million. I guarantee you that fight would have did probably 1.7, maybe even 2 million pay-per-view buys. And at the time, pay-per-view was still like, probably was $75 a piece. That fight would have generated over $100 million in pay-per-view revenue. Then not to mention the live gate. They could have did a 3-fight deal then. But it was always excuses from Team Joshua, and all them guys. Now, I know a lot of people is kicking Wilder while he's down. I'm not kicking Wilder while he's down. I'm just telling the truth from my perspective. I just think due to the inactivity and just to see Wilder reflex is really terrible, like he, based off his performance. And I'm not bashing Wilder and I'm not hating on Wilder like some people gonna call it. And no, I'm not cooning. That's another thing. Stop saying that stupid shit too. I get tired of people because you give an honest perspective that you somehow selling out. So that need to be said as well. I've tried to do interviews with Wilder, and for some reason, people act like they didn't want me to talk to him and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the day, I have nothing bad to say about Wilder, but I'm just critiquing his performance. It was just some of the things, awesome things that I didn't like and that really worried me. But to sit up there and say that Deontay Wilder didn't fight elite fighters, well, what's your definition of elite? Let's be honest. With the exception of Klitschko, who's already in the Boxing Hall of Fame. What surefire Hall of Famers have Anthony Joshua fought? I'm talking about that you can make an argument that's first ballot. Okay, you can say Anthony Joshua is going to be probably in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Okay. What? The exception of with Usyk. Usyk may get in there. That's fine. But what do you have after that? And keep in mind, he lost to Usyk twice. In all likelihood, Tyson Fury is going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. So once he's pretty much dead even as far as elites go. So it isn't really that much of a difference. You fought a dude in Klitschko who was 41, who hadn't fought in like 2 years. So he was already, here's the thing why I'm excluding Klitschko. With or without Anthony Joshua, Klitschko was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay? Usyk would more than likely, he's going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Anthony Joshua, in all likelihood, is going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Wilder is going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. So I'm just asking somebody to just let me know. Their resumes are not really that different. And had Wilder got a chance to fight all those dudes, you really would be able to, defuse that argument. Eddie Hearn really doesn't have a legit argument. So to sit up there and say that Wilder never fought elite fighters, I don't think Joseph Parker is going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Charles Martin is not going to get in the Boxing Hall of Fame. I don't think Joseph Parker is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think Joe Joyce is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So once again, Alexander Povetkin, their resumes are not that different. It's not that much of a difference, and it need to be said. I thought that was absurd hearing Eddie Hearn say Wilder and Joshua's resumes is pretty much the fucking same. You have to understand this new wave of heavyweights were totally different from what people were seeing like in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. With Ron Lyles, George Foreman, Travalis, Ali, Frazier, Norton. The list goes on. Ernie Shavers. Some of those dudes went from the 70s to the 80s. Some of them went from the 60s to the 70s. The Mike Tysons, the Evander Holyfields, the Lennox Lewis, the Riddick Bowles. You know what I'm saying? Those type of dudes. The Ron Mercers, those type of dudes. Those heavyweights were far different from the heavyweights that you got now. Not knocking those dudes, but you just have to tell the truth. Hey, like 2 Chainz say, they different. Yeah, shout out to my guy World Combat Sports. I agree with him on that. I thought Eddie Hearn was displaying pure cap. But I want to ask this question again. I want to pose this question. Okay, this dude up. Now, keep in mind, okay, so once again, if I didn't water down and dilute what Deontay Wilder contributed to boxing, he brought the heavyweight back. He rejuvenated. Nobody cared about the heavyweight division until Deontay Wilder came. This dude that was knocking people out, that went on a run that knocked out like 40 straight people or something, had a 100% knockout ratio for the most part. Until he fought Fury, which you can make an argument he knocked Fury out. You only had one dude that had went the distance with him, and that was Stabern. And then what did he do? In the second fight, he flattened him. He had people talking about the heavyweight division because nobody cared about the heavyweight division. Unfortunately, nobody liked the Klitschko's because they lacked character. And then, you know what I'm saying? They lacked Wilder, resume. Triple G fought truck driver after truck driver. Fought Uber driver after Uber driver. But y'all sat up there and said he was elite. Y'all give him praise for that. But then you complain about Deontay Wilder, and then when we accuse you guys of being suspect racist, then all of a sudden you get mad and then you tell us don't bring up race. But then I'll sit up here and see a lot of these Negro content creators always talking bad on Deontay Wilder, but then they don't talk bad on Triple G, because at the end of the day, a lot of these fake black content creators, they like to cater to racists. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna make this very clear. I don't want no fucking racists on my channel. I don't want no racists on my channel. I don't want no coons on my channel. But that's what a lot of these dudes do. They're view hoes and they like catering. They part of the problem. Now, if somebody listening and you get mad and you think I'm talking about you, then that's fine. Take it however you want. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we all know you ain't going to do shit if you see me in person. You going to keep it moving. You going to keep it moving. And it should be that way. But I just have to bring that up. Triple G has one of the worst resumes, but y'all were just, when Triple G was hot, everybody was, oh my God, I've never seen nothing like this. Are you kidding me? What do you mean you've never saw nothing like this? I mean, he's knocking out everybody. Go look at Triple G's resume. Man never fought an elite fighter in his life. He refused to fight. He refused to fight He refused to fight both of the Charlo brothers. He refused to fight Demetrius Andrade. He ducked all those dudes. He sat up there. He called out Andre Ward. And then when Andre Ward tried to make him an offer, he turned it down. So I'm just saying. And he didn't get ridiculed. It was funny. I was one of the first dudes when some of these black content creators was on Triple G's nutsack. I was just watching this dude. I was saying, this dude ain't that good. It's based off and it was based off who they was matching him up with. I knew Triple G had a deceptive fighting style, and he got exposed in that fight with Daniel Jacobs. That Daniel Jacobs fight exposed Triple G to the fullest. And then what happened? A lot of people thought that Daniel Jacobs did enough to win that fight, but they gave it to Triple G. I think if Daniel Jacobs wouldn't have got knocked down, I think Daniel Jacobs would have got a draw. But then I'm just saying, do you consider Daniel Jacobs elite? And then at the end of the day, if they would have fought, and I can tell you right now, Daniel Jacobs, if he would have got an immediate rematch with Triple G, he would have beat Triple G. His team knew it. Daniel Jacobs knew it, so they decided to just go on this fraudulent hype train of fighting, carefully picked opponents. And then when you say, and I just remember, I was like, this Triple G dude ain't that good, man. He's not that good. And I kept saying it. And I was one of the very, very few people that went against the grain when everybody was praising Triple G. Yeah, I got called a racist. I got called a hater. I got called the N-word with the ER. Fine with me. But I stood on my stance versus Triple G. And I'm going to keep bringing him up. But you got people sitting up here trying to tear down Wilder and stuff. At the end of the day, Wilder is a Hall of Fame fighter. He made it work for him. Yeah, he did lack certain basics, certain fundamentals, but at the end of the day, he had a lot of people that was hesitant to get in the ring with him. Deontay Wilder and Joseph Parker, they fight 4 years ago. Joseph Parker is getting knocked out. Deontay Wilder, I believe, would have beat pretty much anybody. He would have beat Anthony Joshua if they would have fought 5 years ago. He would have knocked him out. Like I said, all Anthony Joshua would do is make excuses to him and Eddie Hearn. I mean, since people talking about you're already freezing them out. So tell the truth about the DAZN deal. When Lou DiBella ruined his relationship with Al Heyman, when Al Heyman said that he with Lou DiBella more, when Lou DiBella tried to take Deontay Wilder to DAZN, it was a 3-fight deal. Everybody knows this. I got the receipts too. It was a 3-fight deal. Yes, Wilder could have made more money, but he went another direction, took the Ortiz fight. But, however, in that 3-fight deal that they offered him that could pay him upwards of $100 million, it was factual that Anthony Joshua wasn't necessarily included in that deal. So that's for the people that's sitting up here half telling the truth. If you're going to tell the truth or try to tell the story, tell the whole story. Don't tell a quarter of the story to make it look like that you've proven a point. I'm going to say this again. I know where a lot of this vitriol come from toward Deontay Wilder. A lot of these dudes don't like who, and some of this, and a lot of this towards Devin Haney. A lot of people don't like the fact that Bill and Devin Haney, and I'm going to just keep this 100. A lot of these people attack Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder is affiliated with the LDBC. And the same thing with Team Haney, which they can be affiliated with whoever they want to. But my thing, a lot of you dudes sit up here and say F the LDBC, but every time I look around, you making videos about the LDBC. Or you can't go 5 minutes without bringing up the LDBC. I know some of you niggas is listening. You built your channel off bringing up the LDBC. Like them or not. You don't have no content unless you bring up the LDBC. And a lot of these black content creators that be, not all of them, a lot of these dudes are nothing but a bunch of coons who built their channels catering to racists and other coons. Yeah, I said it. Ain't nobody worried about you niggas. You did. Now, I've said this before. I'm cool with a lot of the LDBC people, but then there's some that I'm not cool with. There's some that I don't like. Can't stand. Because they act like kids. Getting the attitude because you won't be a fanboy of the dude they like. And then making a little fake internet threats. But like I said before, yeah, I'm not afraid to say it. Like I said, if you a black dude that sit up here and constantly make content talking about other black people to get views, and you allow racists to come on your channel and say racist stuff, you are a coon. And you know who the fuck you are. And I'm gonna say this again, and then they'll try to say, "Oh, these dudes are broke and all this stuff." How you know what somebody got? That's another lame excuse. When I hear people say that type of shit, those are the same dudes that remind me of those chicks. You know, when like just screening them for possible dating and all that stuff to see if this is somebody you want to have a relationship with, and they get mad. You ask them, what do they bring to the table? That's what a lot of those dudes are like. When you sit up there and call them out for like basically cooning for views. Oh, they broke. Like I said, once again, how you know what somebody got? You got to understand based off your perspective state, you could get more for less. Everybody knows if you live like in Texas and in Georgia and in Florida, places like that, you get property. In Kentucky, you get property for the low based off what you may pay getting it in California. So let's just keep it a buck. So that could be a little bit fraudulent. Or Nevada. I give me for 100 racks, I give me a 3-bedroom house in Nevada. In a decent neighborhood. For 75 grand in Nevada, I can get me a fixer-upper. And probably only spend another 25 on repairs. And then sell it for like 200,000. So yeah, I know how it works too. So I'm just, I just wanted to bring that up for these people that sit up there, be said, oh, these dudes is broke and all that kind of stuff. But once again, how you know what somebody got in their bank account? Goofy ass nigga. So you getting the real spiel right here. But I've been meaning to say this stuff. But Eddie Hearn, I'm sorry, Eddie Hearn ain't being official with those comments. Because Anthony Joshua's resume ain't that much different from Deontay Wilder's. If you take out this fighter and replace it with this fighter, basically they level of competition It's pretty much the same. And like I said before, some of those dudes that Anthony Joshua fought and beat, Wilder tried to fight. They didn't want to get in the ring with him. It's easy to like talk about somebody now, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, these dudes weren't trying to get in the ring with Wilder because they were all fearful of that right hand. A lot of times they wait till a dude loses a step or two. At the end of the day, they can take advantage of the fact dude they take advantage of the dude's age. So I know how this works, but this needed to be said, man. It'd be too much perparating on here. I'm gonna address a lot of this stuff this weekend because I'm gonna have some fun with this stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's too many fake people on here, man. So there you go. Like, I ain't talking about no specific person, but if you take offense to this, hey, that's on you. I ain't worried about it. Feel free to respond. And if I feel the need to respond, I will. But I just I just wanted to put that on the side, though. These dudes kill me how they constantly sit up here talking about somebody else and saying what somebody got. Like I said, once again, how you know what somebody got? And why are you worried about it? What's it to you? So there you have it. But I needed to put that out there. Anyway, this your boy Town. I'm out.